Hi, everyone.
Who's you? Oh, I'm Carla Brown.
Oh, I'm Arlaana Black, and we are
Don't Mess with the Mommas.
Mommas, with our motto,
You are the protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny.
And today, our episode 35, we're talking about diversity, and we call this a symphony of differences. Take it away, Carla.
Okay, so diversity, what is it? Diversity covers a wide range of differences: ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation, physical ability, socioeconomic background, neurodiversity, all brains do not work the same, thought and experience. So we'll be covering some of these aspects of diversity. So Arlaana, what is the difference between a river culture and an ocean culture?
So I really love this concept, and our SGI president, Daisaku Ikeda, talked about river versus an ocean culture. And a river culture, you don't get the diversity because it doesn't it opens up to the ocean, but in and of itself, there's not that kind of mix, that incredible mix that you get with the ocean where everything is included. And people always want to live near the ocean more than anything. I mean, not everybody, of course, but living near the ocean, you get such a sense of life because it extends to all other countries and the world itself. And it's so fascinating when you have an ocean of uniqueness, an ocean of differences. Why does everybody love to flock to New York? Because there's such diversity, and people love the food there. But why do they love the food? Because it's not just barbecue, or it's not just this or that. You can get food from all over the world, and that's the spice of life. So an ocean culture opens your life up. If you're very self-contained, maybe very traditional kind of person, you're afraid of mixing your life with other people, it doesn't lead to such a happy life. It leads to a very fearful and inclusive life.
Lonely,
yeah.
New York, I always wondered how did Chinatown was right next to Little Italy. How did those two cultures get together and be in the same spot practically, But diversity is really a very nice thing to have. So the benefits, some of the benefits are definitely food. I mean, I love food and people and being welcomed by different nationalities, and can learn a lot of different things from people from different walks of life.
My sister, tragically, she passed away last February, so we went to Brooklyn for her funeral, and where they live, in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, there's such diverse ethnicity. It's fascinating. So many languages spoken. You just walk down the block and you hear all these different languages, and it makes things so rich. So there was a Palestinian restaurant, and we ordered way too much food, right? Because, all the food looked so good. And so we had to take out food. Even though we were staying in a hotel, we carried out food. And there was, the takeout bag was so beautiful, all these different colors. And then on the bag, it said, we may have different beliefs, but we are all human. And that was so touching. And in that restaurant, there were people who are Muslim, there were people who were Jewish, there were people from all over, and people were smiling at each other. And, in New York, you don't have that. You really have an acceptance there, which is really lovely. And, when we studied a little bit, AI is so great. You could find out everything these days. So when I looked at business leaders, why they want a diverse employees, they want a diversity of employment. You get enhanced innovation and creativity, make better decisions when you have people from all different walks of life with different experiences and belief systems. You're able to increase your empathy toward others. Definitely, that's a big thing, increasing empathy as opposed to being so prejudiced. And you really develop social cohesion, and basically you have better performance experiences.
I was talking earlier about, you have diversity, but you also have to have inclusion, which is respecting everybody's viewpoint. And it makes for, it's very important in business because when you have a diverse workforce, they can help your business to go further.
Right.
You're not limited just to one set of people. You can deal with a whole bunch of different people and make profit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Money. So
when I was when I was going to day camp when I was 11 years old, mostly Caucasian people, and there was one girl who was Chinese, and I immediately went to her and we became like good friends. It was so interesting because I loved learning about her culture. It was fascinating. And then there was these two girls, one was deaf and the other was deaf and blind. And I just became friends with them as well. And they were trying to teach me sign language. And she kept on calling me stupid because I couldn't learn it, But I just have such wonderful memories of, going to people who ordinarily people were not attracted to. They were trying to stay in their own groups. And, how sad today that I think in a lot of schools today, I hear, from young people that they kind of stick to their own, during lunchtime, and that's not a good thing. They really need to branch out because that's where things become so interesting. And I think it's fear of the other, it's not having the experience, but when you have the courage to break free of that, it's like the whole world, it's like the ocean, the whole world opens up, and I wanted to say in our organization, our Soko Gakkai International, we embrace diversity. We have a beautiful Florida Nature and Culture Center, and where we have different conferences. And one of the conferences is particularly geared for people, gay, lesbian, the queer, all the letters.
Yes.
I forget all the letters. And one, people of African descent, and just so many different, respecting everybody's backgrounds and belief systems. Nobody should judge somebody else. If you're creating value with your life, if you're leading a happy life and encouraging others to do the same, how dare, excuse me, but how dare somebody think they have the right to judge your life? Let each person live their life as long as they're not harming others in any way. They're embracing, and I find people who are kind of on the outskirts of society or a little bit different, they're usually the most wonderful people of all. They're really warm-hearted, wonderful.
Well, bringing up the diversity, when I first started to practice chanting, it was Japanese members who, supported me. And I didn't understand their English right away, okay? So I had to listen extra hard, really to catch what they were saying, what they were trying to tell me. And because of that, I could take that into anything that I was doing. At my hospital job, I had a lot of people from different places, didn't speak the language. I had to listen. So I was prepared to, greet them, help them, because I could listen. So it was training.
I love it.
It trains you how to be a good human being.
How to be a good human being, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So diversity is very, 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 very wonderful, And what do people do? People who make tons of money or people who whatever, what do they always want to do? They always want to go on like a vacation to somewhere different, and that's what makes things so fun. They want that experience, right? Cruises are so popular because they go to all these different places. So when you look at that, what people really want in their life, they want the experience of different cultures, But it just, it's such a wonderful experiencing
that you can have friends from different places.
I have to tell you something funny because this was a joke, and I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
When I was at Columbia University, I studied international affairs, and I had a lot of international affairs. It seems like I was with somebody who was from Israel, somebody who was from Ethiopia, all different. So one boyfriend I had was French speaking, and because I used to sing, I'm good with languages, and I used to make up languages that sounded very authentic. So I would always sound like I was speaking French to him. I didn't know a lick of French. And he would look at me and he says, I know she's saying something because it sounds so French, but it was totally made up, But I always wondered, I thought how cool to be able to speak all these different languages. Now with Google Translate, we can. But to be able to really have a dialogue with people from all over. Yeah.
Well, now they have earpieces that you can
Right.
that will translate whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
All sorts of devices, so you don't have to be stuck in not being able to speak.
I hope that they translate it correctly. They're not doing their. I don't know if AI is taking over. They may start saying things that you don't want them to say.
Yeah. So the benefits. What are some of the obstacles? Meeting different people.
Well, I think you can't let your guard down, because sometimes a person may not be ready for you, or they may be a little crazy or whatever. Be sensitive, right? But also know people's cultures. Like I know in one culture, and I forget which it is, I apologize, but it's not appropriate to look somebody in the eye. Well, don't be judgmental if somebody is looking down while you're speaking to them, because it may be out of respect. So you really need to get to know
about
the
culture.
cultures. Yeah. And you also have to, feel out, is this person ready for me to share, especially if I'm going to use a little bit of humor, and they may have a background in a humorless, they may not have grown up with much humor in their life. So you have to be sensitive and a little bit savvy.
But, well, when I was in New York, I was getting into Bollywood movies, and it's a culture that I knew nothing about, But I fell in love with the Bollywood movies and with the actors. And then when I went to go shopping at a Indian store, grocery, this, that, and the other, I could say good morning, and they were surprised. Okay, this is a black woman, or whatever I look like. She knows a little bit about my culture. She knows how to say good morning.
Right.
And so then they would teach me another word. So, it's like if you know just a little bit, you can make a friend, Yeah,
yesterday I had my nails done, and my husband is sure that I look like the Wicked Witch of the West with the colors. But they play music at the nail salon, and it's always American music. And it was very quiet there. There weren't a lot of people. And I said, oh, what about Vietnamese music? I don't know what Vietnamese music is like. So she was so surprised that I was interested in Vietnamese music. So she started playing it. And all the nail technicians, which, and they were all from Vietnam, I think they were like, wow, we're listening to our music. And it was such beautiful, such romantic music. And it was so cool to be exposed to that wonderful music. And now, of course, everybody's into K-pop,
Yeah.
I mean, things are just so diverse now, especially our young people. They really love hearing different sounds from different cultures. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I used to travel back and forth to Queens, Jackson Heights, 74th Street and Roosevelt, and they had shops there, and they had video and CDs of Bollywood music, so on and so forth. And I was coming down the street, and they were playing their music, but they had mixed it with Kanye West.
Oh gosh!
And I was like, oh,
whoa.
My goodness, look at this, a mashup of the two cultures.
Right.
I was like, I love this,
You know, when I was a teacher, you talked about Queens, and I was involved, and I spoke about this in a previous episode. I was involved with starting a school called the Renaissance School with other fellow Buddhist teachers. We wanted to create a school where kids would love to learn, just such an open school, and we could it could lead to the Renaissance of New York. I mean, just such a great vision, and the school is doing well. We now have 2 schools in Queens, and I was teaching, I had 25 7th graders, 3 rising 6th graders, and 3 8th graders. I had never taught middle school before, but my class of I guess 31 students, I had 11 different ethnicities, and it was so fascinating. And the kids, it was amazing, because I also had 3 kids with 99 percentile reading and math, and 3 kids with below 10% reading and math. And they tutored each other, they worked so well with each other, and it was just so fascinating. I learned so much from that experience, you know. So that was really, really great. And then just yesterday we were watching something on Amazon Prime about Filipino food, because our son is a real foodie. You know, he loves taking photos of food. And I think everybody likes taking photos of food, right? That's the big thing. And it was just really fascinating, you know, learning about the culture and how the food has become so popular. It's such a big thing now in New York, and it's, you know, Filipino food is, you know, before it would be unheard of, and now it's like one of the top 50 restaurants, you know, 2 of them were, you know, with Filipino food. So, you know, well, celebrate differences.
When I was in New York, the hospital did a lot of recruiting, and when Marcos was put out of power, they took in a lot of Filipino nurses.
That's right.
And so I was exposed to Filipino culture, and food. And I got to go to somebody's wedding.
Wow.
And I got to, you know, so it was very nice. It was almost like family.
Yes.
You know, like family. So
we are.
Yeah.
We're a human family. As soon as people
I
get
just
that,
hope
duh.
that, you know, I think that people don't realize it because they're in it, okay? But if they were to go into space and they look down at the earth, they would,
Right.
That's your home.
Right.
That's everybody,
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah. And no matter who you are, what your background, you know, we can all learn somehow from somebody, or absolutely.
Yeah.
And to become like global citizens. You know, we are citizens of the world, citizens of the universe, right? True. I always said I would love to meet the first alien, because we always portray like the concept of aliens, because definitely there's life out in the, you know, in the infinite space out there of the universe. I said I would love to meet, you know, that whatever we would call them, right? That alien. And you know, the media portrays them as like evil and you know, terrible people that are going to destroy us, right? But what about maybe they're very friendly and we could have like a great dialogue,
nice time,
right?
you know?
As long as we don't get like some weird, you know, disease from not being exposed, but just be open. I think that's the key, openness.
Yeah, and also, you know, when you're exposed to a lot of different cultures or a lot of different people, you have a responsibility to really take care of them, in the sense that you don't insult them.
Yes.
Or you definitely respect them.
Yes.
And if you can respect one set of people, you can respect everybody.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing, you know.
And in Buddhism, we have no doubt that life is eternal, right? That energy is neither created nor destroyed, the same as our life. So we've lived lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And it was so bizarre here, a girl from Brooklyn, New York, very Caucasian, traveled to Africa, Nigeria, and when the plane landed, I immediately started crying. I said, home at last after all these years. It was just spontaneous. I didn't even think about it. So, you know, that was such a connection. And just, you know, as we go through life, I'm sure many of you have had many experiences. We call it deja vu, but is it really? What is deja vu? That somehow we're connected to all these different places and cultures because our life is eternal. We've lived lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So to be so saying, oh, well, in this lifetime, this is how I look, so this is who I am. No, our life is just vast and so expansive. And we've had many, many experiences. Good thing we don't remember all of that because our brain would be like,
be able to go
would blow
forward.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they had this art installation, and it was called a race machine. Mm-hmm. And you went into it, and you could pick what ethnicity you wanted to be, what you wanted, how you saw yourself, you know?
Right.
So I tried on a lot of different ethnicities, but what I came back with was that doesn't matter what this looks like, what's inside is always the same.
Absolutely.
It's always the same.
Yeah.
So you could come back black, you could come back white, you could come back Chinese, but it's just the container that you're in.
Absolutely.
You know.
For sure.
And
although I'm not going to deal with weight issues next lifetime. No way, Jose. And height issues. I'm going to be taller. I'm going to be thinner. I'm going to have other issues.
I'm going to be definitely taller. Yeah.
Right, so I think, I think that's a wrap up. We'll do it.
Okay, so encouraging words. Okay, so let's see. You gave me this, right?
I did, yeah.
Oh, Arlaana is wonderful. Okay, so Buddhism teaches equality and absolute respect for the dignity of life. Educating people to become citizens of the world begins with cultivating respect, compassion, and empathy for others. I am certain that friendship and limitless trust in people can empower us to overcome socially disruptive discrimination and hatred. Open-minded exchanges on the popular level will be increasingly important in the years to come. When people engage in mind-to-mind dialogue, they are grateful to see ethnic and cultural differences not as obstacles, but as expressions of society, enriching diversity that engenders respect and a desire for further exploration.
Yay.
So and let's see, is there anything else? Okay. In essence, Daisaku Ikeda's message on diversity is profoundly hopeful. It is a spiritual and practical imperative to recognize that our differences are not walls that separate us, but the very materials from which we can build a more creative, compassionate, and peaceful world. The path to that world, he insisted, is through open-hearted, respectful dialogue.
Yay. Okay.
Yay.
So don't forget.
Okay. We are Don't Mess with the Mommas.
MOMMAS with our motto.
You are the protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny.
You can find us at full length now on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And if you just want to do the audio, we're there. You can just do the audio as well. Thank you so much. You could also email us. Please leave comments, questions, anything at all. We'd love to reach out and get to know who you are and your experiences. Mommas, MOMMAS.podcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Okay, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.